Back to Commonwealth Flipper. You know, I posted a Commonwealth picker video the other day that got a visceral response from some folks, and it got me thinking about the ethics of reselling. I haven't done a video on this in quite a while, and two things in that video really got people set off. One of them I think is ridiculous, but it might be a misunderstanding, and the other one is pretty typical that a lot of us might hear from time to time. I want to talk about those things today. Let's go take a look. Look at this. I got somebody sitting outside. Any other dogs in here? You want to come in here? Look at that. Sophie. We haven't had Sophie in here in a long time, old girl. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed because I shut the door and gave Sophie her treat. I'm happy she's here. She doesn't normally come down anymore. But I went on to the Commonwealth Picker channel to look up the comments that I wanted to talk about today. And the one with the biggest thread, the one that had the most vitriol on it, that one is now gone. I did not delete it. I usually don't delete things like that unless they're like personal or ridiculous. And I liked the debate in there. I just thought it was interesting. There was people coming to my defense and all that. I think that's probably why. My guess is the person who posted it deleted it, because their other post that was down there later also got deleted. But I am going to delve into this issue a little bit. I have 15 sales today. I decided to film. I filmed yesterday. Decided to film today. We're going to do 4 videos over the course of 5 days, I guess. No, 4 videos in 4 days. So our sales have been pretty decent. You know, when you're putting out videos, sometimes you like to put provocative titles and stuff. And I thought the title itself and the discussion in the video was going to be the topic, but it wasn't. It was something that happened totally in a different spot. And then there was another event that happened that I didn't think would be controversial either. That was what I thought was going to be controversial really wasn't. Although there were some comments about that too. Here's a Coach bag. I paid $15 for this one in, where were we at? Kentucky. And she wanted 20. And I said, hey, I'll give you 50. I bundled together and I paid 15 for it. And we'll wait and see when that video comes out here soon. This one sold for $44.95. Maybe that's the first topic we'll look at. So the video itself that I was trying to focus on was a lady who had a nice boombox. It was probably a $25 boombox, my guess. And it was in good shape. I love to sell that stuff, but it's not the easiest. You got to test it. It's got to be working. The cassette deck's got to be working. This, by the way, isn't the topic I want to talk about. That was way more controversial. That I probably should have... I should probably retitle it that, because people are more upset about that than this. Although there were comments about this as well, which I kind of wanted, if you catch my drift. So there was this boombox sitting there, and there was no price on it. I was like, hey, how much you want for the boombox? And she said, you know, what you hear all the time, well, how much will you offer me for it, kind of thing. You know, how much you want to pay? And I was like, well, in my mind, I'm thinking I don't want to pay more than $5 for this thing. But when somebody asks you that, they usually... once you give the price, bump the price up. So I was gonna give them a number, because I'd rather them give me the number. But I was gonna give them the number, assuming they were gonna bump it up. So I said, hey, how about $3 for this thing? Hoping she'd say 5 or maybe 6 even. And she didn't. She said, well, I was thinking 10. I thought to myself, well, if you're thinking 10, why didn't you just tell me $10? We could have done it that way. But she didn't do that. I said, how about $5 for it? She's like, no, I think 10's better. And it was pretty curt and whatever. And I was like, okay, thanks. And I set it down and I left. Not a big deal. This stuff happens from time to time. Actually, it doesn't happen that much. A lot of times, they'll be like, hey, actually, you know what? I told her, did I say this? I don't know if I said this already. I said, I'd give you $5 for it. That's probably the most I'd do. And that was the truth. I might give in 6, maybe 7 for a $25 item. And it may have been a $30 item. But in my mind, you've got to think the low end. And you've got to think it might not work, which might be the case as well. Now, she might know it works, but you never know until you bring it home, right? So I thought people would be offended at that, the fact that I offered $3 for this thing. And there were plenty that were, for sure. That didn't bother me at all. I try to set that kind of 30% on that type of an item. I'm not going to pay more than 30% for it. There's a lot of work that goes into reselling. You know this. We got some jealous dogs. You know that Sophie's in here, huh? And you know, sometimes things don't quite go as planned. Like this one right here. This is an awesome jacket, y'all. And I thought for sure we could get $50 for it. Listen, or more. And it finally sold, but it went out on 30% off. It just didn't sell. And I think in hindsight, because it's the fall at this point and jackets are selling a little better, I probably wouldn't have done the 30% off sale. I might have dropped it 5%, but it sold as soon as it hit that sale for $35, $34.97 plus shipping. I have to stop for a second because these dogs are pathetic little beggars. But I got to show you this haircut. Now you look like my little Valcor, huh? That's right. You don't even look like the same dog. So that's the kind of controversy that I kind of invite, because folks that watch that are resellers, which is the majority of the audience, they get it. They know the work that goes into it. They know the fees, they know the taxes, they know the gas, they know everything. And so that's not too much to ask for. So it's to max pay 30%. And you know what? That's a sliding scale, right? I'm not paying $3 for a $10 item. Not happening. So $5 into a $25 item, you know, that's not easy and may not work. That's pretty reasonable in my opinion. Might not be in everybody's, but it's pretty reasonable for me. And I'm certainly not going to pay $10 for a $25 item that I have to test that may not work. And so I invite that in because it gets the non-resellers, you know, up in arms sometimes, and whatever. It is what it is. But the other ones were what surprised me a little bit. And I think part of it had to do with how it was edited, and I didn't really assume that people would think what they thought. And I had people who said, I've been watching for years and I'm unsubscribing. So I'm going to tell you about that one in a second, but I got to pick one or two more. Sold a Barney lot right here. And this is actually sold it pretty cheap. Sold, I think I probably could have got a little bit more, but you know what? It's a quick seller. That Barney lot sold for $15.95 plus shipping. So there's another comment for that other one before I get to the new one here. And they said, this is from Holly. She said, good for that lady with the small boombox to stick to her price. Understand he wants deals. I understand that he wants deals, but sometimes it's insulting to the seller. Okay. So my response was insulting, question mark. I mean, I didn't think I was insulting. She asked how much I'd pay for it. I told her. She didn't like it. She didn't want to do it. No problem, it's her stuff. That's what I said. And that's the way it is. It's not my stuff, it's their stuff. But I'm going to give them the price that I want to pay for it. I'm going to give them a price that makes sense for me. In that case, it was slightly under what made sense for me. But I don't know. Holly, maybe you're a reseller. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't know that she was insulted. She might have got $10. So sometimes I'll tell people that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Somebody's going to give it to you. Somebody who wants that item at their yard sale for themselves probably would pay $10. They might pay $15 for it. And it's not like radios are flying off the shelf. Although, hey, I just sold one. But this one, look at this. This is a Sound Design new in box. New in box. Right there. And that one sold for $20 plus shipping. By the way, side point, because this next one's going to lead into the other topic. That 30% thing for me is a sliding scale. Like if it's a $10 ASP, 10% max on something like that. And if it's, you know, maybe $50 or higher, I might consider going up to 35. If it's a $400 item, I'll pay 50% if there's no risk. But this sale is the one. At this sale, it was after the fact that people were not happy, and I think it's a little bit of a misunderstanding, but it brings up a great point that I want to ask y'all about and get your opinion. USS Voyager right here, this one sold, I paid $5. Actually, the other one I paid $5 for. I think I paid a little bit more for this one. It sold for $35 plus shipping. Okay, so at that sale where I picked this up, this is on the Commonwealth Picker video last week Wednesday, so I guess I don't know when you're seeing this. Sometimes I forget, and we're doing extra videos, so it'll be a day or two later. But I was at this sale, and I was looking at all kinds of stuff. I'd already made a little pile. I got an idea of the prices on a few items. Then I just started making a pile, and I figured I'd make a bundle deal. I'm looking at jelly jars or something, and I ended up paying more for that than I wanted to, but that's a side point. At Welch's jelly jars, they do okay. And I saw, it was right in front of my face when I'm watching the video, trying to edit it, but I didn't see it while I was looking at the jelly jars, but right to the side was a camera bag, and inside the camera it had a Sony, one of the CD ones, and I saw it, and I'm like, how much you want? I think it was $10 maybe, and I was like, okay, and I put it in my pile, and those don't sell that good, to be honest with you, like $25 maybe. It was already in my pile, and I did a bundle deal. Then that goes to after I settled that sale up completely, it goes to the next clip, and I'm digging through that stuff. And that's where things went awry a little bit. My truck bed is open. Everything I just bought at that sale was right there, and I started talking about it on the video. Boy, we could get into a whole nother topic on Bibles and all that like this, but we'll save that for another day. Disciples' prayer life, walking in fellowship with God, and I don't know, 15 bucks though, $14, no, $15.95 plus shipping. Shout out book people. I've done better this year on books than I've ever done before, and I'm pretty happy about it. You know, I've been doing videos a long time, so I'm pretty aware that a ton of you out there are great resellers, and you might have, when I picked up that camera, you might think to yourself, oh, those don't sell that great, and they don't. I mean, if they're not working, or if you want to sell them untested, they get like 15 bucks, and I just paid 10 bucks for this thing. I think that's what I paid. And so I want to make the point that, hey, all these sales were good. This was good. That was good. All this was good. But I want to make the point about, I think the jelly jar is like, I paid a little too much, you know, to buy something for 10 that is not an easy shipper for 25, 30, but it's not a great buy. And I want to make that point out there so people wouldn't come after me like, dude, you're a dummy for spending that much. And so I want to make that point about that camera too. Just try to be transparent, because I know a lot of people watch and they're curious, and I don't want them picking up stuff that's a pain in the butt or not worth selling. That's why I also say sometimes I bought this, but I bought it for dibbed it, because some people aren't live sellers and it's a waste of their time. At any rate, as I picked that thing out to talk about it, I realized underneath it there was a lens, and underneath the lens was another camera down there. I was like, sweet, this one I just said, hey, this isn't even the greatest buy in the world, but it just became a good buy, because the next camera coming out of there might be 30, 40 bucks. And I don't remember what the camera was, but you get the point. And I said, this lens, I looked it up real quick. I was like, this lens would go for 15. I was like, so a bad buy turned into a good one, and I was pretty happy about that. And I said that in the video. So here's the comment, or one of them. The other one was had much more hate in it than this one, but it's gone. Can't really read the name of this person who commented, and they said they've been a long-time subscriber until this video, and I did get some unsubs for this. Did you go back and tell the woman there's a lot more in that camera bag? So, I don't know about a lot more. Most time I pick up a camera bag, I'm hoping there's a lens or something in it. You need to edit out, I don't understand this. You need to edit out just how cheap you are, and now you steal. No thanks. Okay. So, I got a lot to say about this, but the first thing I'm going to say is, forget about the context of this, which will make a huge difference, and I put that underneath here. But even without that context, I still think this is true. And I think most resellers agree with me. If you don't, tell me in the comments below. It's not my job to know what's in that bag. It's not my bag, not my job. It's their job to know what they're selling. That's basically how I feel. If she's willing to sell me that bag, regardless what's in it, you know, then what I do after that is completely up to me, 100%. You know, if there's a $100 bill in that thing, would you take it back? Hey, that reminds me of another point, and I want to make another point about this, but I remember, and people have found money in purses before. I did a video, it was with Uncle Mark and Aunt Lori, and we were at a sale, and they found, I think it was a $5 bill in a purse. And they bought the purse for $1. And they got a $5 bill. People were up in arms about it. And I'm like, golly, man, really? Are you really up in arms about it? And, you know, you should go give that thing back and blah, 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 blah. And personally, and this is personal choice, if I was at a yard sale and I thought that purse was that person's, I would do that. I've done that before. Would I do it at Goodwill? Probably not, to be honest. But this person was a storage unit buyer doing sellouts. That purse wasn't even his to begin with. So I think the seller bears a certain amount of responsibility. Tell me what you think about that. But I want to get into this one and dig a little deeper and kind of explain the context of the situation. Because if you're at a sale, I might have gone back and said, hey, I didn't know if you know these things were in here or not. I just want to make sure that deal was okay. Remember how I said hats are a little slow right now? Every day since I said that, I've had a hat sale. And this wasn't even a high-end hat, but it is cool. Got that old Miami font from them. Probably late 80s is my guess. This one sold on 30% off $11.20 plus shipping. I think what most people did not understand, and they rarely do, and it's understandable, is editing. Because it went right from me saying thank you to the lady and walking away to a picture of the back of my truck bed. I was 30 minutes away from where I was at. It was a done deal. Like, I was going to put that in the video, and I did it right back here in the back of my backyard here by the other shed. And, you know, I don't know. I sure as heck am not going to drive 30 minutes back to let somebody know that something was in there. Now, to each their own, you know, you got to do what your own conscience allows you to do, but I had no problem whatsoever. But I want to address those. You know, if you buy a box of something, whatever it is, sometimes I'll dig through a box and I'll see one thing, just one thing I know is worth money. And I'll say, hey, how much you want for the box? And I'll take it. And, you know, whatever the price is. And then I get to have fun digging through that stuff. So I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think about finding $1 in a purse or $50 in a purse, yard sale versus where you're at or whatever. And how much responsibility does the seller bear to the equation? And I also want to know what you think about a lowball offer. I get it all the time, lowball, lowball, lowball. And I'm like, I don't feel like I lowball people. The only time I might feel like that, no, I don't think I do. I don't ever think I do. Maybe every once in a while, but certainly not on purpose. And I also don't get offended when people send me lowball offers on eBay. A lot of resellers do, and they air their grievances and whatever. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Does it bother you out there? It doesn't bother me a bit. If somebody wants to make me an offer, it's their prerogative. It's my prerogative to say yes or no because I own the items. Same thing in a garage sale. So are there certain ethical rules out there that you go by, not necessarily that you have to put on other people? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Here's a cool sale. And I believe this one's the Bionic Man. Sometimes I get my old-timey Lee Major characters all mixed up. $6 Million Man. You got the Fall Guy and all those good things. I believe this... Whoa! Now, let me double-check it real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought it was right here. And that one sold for... What did it sell for? $44.95 plus shipping. By the way, that's the $6 Million Man, so you don't tell me in the comments. Pretty sure anyways. But, you know, if you watch my channel, you know I do. There's some things that irk me that other resellers do, and I've seen them do it before. Is they'll find a small item or something, they'll hide it in the bottom of a bag or something like that, where they're getting a bundle deal and they feel like it's okay. If I put something in that bag and then I asked how much for the bag is, that's a totally different story. That's just, I mean, well, it's just dishonest, I guess. Here we go. American Red Cross blanket. I'll probably get in trouble for selling this, right? Should give it away. It didn't go for much. And I didn't pay anything for it, but $11, $10.95 plus shipping. Here's another comment, and this Lenny MM3GT left this one, said, I feel Kevin should have told the lady there was another camcorder in the bottom of the bag, although he did not. He did say it made him feel better, which I did. It did make me feel better. Getting something for nothing. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe they have a different opinion if they heard the context. I mean, maybe they wouldn't. I don't really know. But I responded to that as well. And they left that comment twice. It is Christmas time, y'all. And this one sold right here. Paid $5. Sold fairly quickly. $35.95 plus shipping. They'll follow me everywhere. Sandra bought this. No repeat buyers today. Only one viewer sale, and this is it. I watch all your channels. Yes, even the Trash to Cash podcast. Love everything you put out there. I'm purchasing this set for my own home. My father had a set for many years of my life, and I love them. I have so many awesome memories. He still puts them up every year. Thank you for all you do. I believe this is my 4th purchase from you. Take care, Sandra. Sandra, I appreciate that. Look, you have 4 feedback. So that is amazing. I really appreciate that. Hopefully you can find some stuff on eBay that you love from some other folks as well. But, you know, those are cool. I've bought so many and sold them over the year, Mr. Christmas, that I kind of wish I would have kept some because they are kind of awesome. Thank you. By the way, this was one of the D-list, D-list sell similar. We've been having a lot of those sales lately. This might have been as well. And that was a 30% off sale. So, hey, and that was a 30% off sale. These sold over on Dibdit.com. It was deal of the day. The General Lee, the Erdl General Lee 1981 should be the date in the Boss Hog. And I put them out there cheaper than you can find them on eBay most of the time. $19.95 plus shipping. Our last live sale over there went well again. Thank you for all of you who have joined us over there. We made about 400. We didn't make, that was the gross, but you get the point. Jeans have been selling okay. This one's been listed for a while. It was only $1, but it was a pair of polo jeans, pretty large size, and 42, I think, 42.30. Sold for $20 plus shipping. Hey, speaking of Dibdit, I want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Rod, Pickin' and Punchin', and a little promo for his show on the 18th. And I'm going to be over there with him. It's going to be a super show. We're going to have other sellers come on too. And he said, hey, what do you think about a high-end Dibdit show? Like, he's selling good stuff, and I'm going to find some good stuff too. That's right now, it's scheduled for the 18th. And so I'm like, hey, you want to gamble? Let's gamble. Let's do it. So come on over to that show. It's going to be a big show, one of our biggest shows ever. And we're going to try, I'm digging around to find some good stuff. And that's on Dibdit.com, by the way. And I'm going to put this deal of the day over on Dibdit right here. This one I don't think is a Halloween one. This has the colors for it. I think it's a photographer or something. But obviously this is Halloween. Matter of fact, Azrael, listen, just this little cat can sell for like 15 bucks, 16, 17. There's probably a, I don't know, $6, $8, $10 figure. If this had Gargamel with it, you can sometimes get like 30 bucks for the two of them. I was going to put it on a Halloween show, but I'm just going to put it over on Deal of the Day. I don't know. What do you think? How much should I put it over there for? I'm going to say $12.95. That should be pretty good. If you just took this, you could probably get that for it. Or if you have the Gargamel, you could really make some money. Sold some Real Tree Camo. $24.95. My phone is going off. Plus shipping. And look at this. I made a sale on Mulligan's Golf Shop. .net. A little Titleist hat used. I think I had it out there for like $8. Somebody sent me an offer for $6, and I said sure. So it's headed their way $6 plus shipping. Speaking of Dibdit, I bought these off of Dibdit along with all this other stuff in a big old lot, and we're making money on them. This is Wolverine, Enemy of the State, and something else. I don't know. $22.95 plus shipping. Sold a lot over on Commons as well. I often buy Victoria's Secret bags if they're $1. And I came across a sale. I had a ton of them. So what I did was I bought them all. I just said, hey, $1 a piece, take them all. And they're like, yeah. So I took them all, and I took all the ones with tags out, and I'm selling them individually. But I figured, you know what? Do I really want to sell $10 bags or whatever? Whatever. I'll do it for the rest of them. So I just lotted the rest up together, put them on Shop Commons. There's 12 of them, and we sold for $30 plus shipping. Speaking of shopcommons.net, I wanted to do a bit of a promo as well since I did the Dibdit. On the 19th, I'm planning on doing the first ever live wholesale lot auction and having guests on, and they can sell a lot as well. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in being a buyer over there or a seller, there is a video. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's over on the Nashville Flippers channel. I did a podcast with them, and it was really, really fun. Those folks are just awesome over there. So go check that out on his channel if you're interested in learning more about it. We get down to the nitty gritty. I just kind of tell everything, but I don't usually do that on this channel with Shop Commons. If you do watch the Commonwealth Picker channel, you probably saw me a couple weeks ago pick up these tap shoes, and I paid $5 for them, and I really didn't want to get them because I don't like shoes. I've had tap shoes before, and they're kind of long tail. At least they were for me. But I'm like, for $5 into 30, you know, they were probably $35 shoes, but I just listed them for 30, and they sold pretty quick. So $5 into 30 for these tap shoes, plus shipping. All right, Reagan has some sales from CommonwealthPicker.com.
Debbie, Rob, Tony, and Angie all got CWP lights.
That's right. Sold a bunch, and 4 more sold on Dibdit.com as well. Can't even get a door. What am I doing here? Oh, probably because I got to hit the bottom. There you go. Blacklight keychains, y'all, so you can find that in your reading class.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Hey, y'all, Turner's got the hiccups. You know what I used to do in my classroom if you got the hiccups?
What?
I used to make you come to the front of the room, and I had a table in the front of the room. I used to make people stand up on top of the table. And then I'd ask them, everybody would ask them to hiccup. Like, hiccup, hiccup, hiccup. Come on, we're waiting for you. And then they couldn't hiccup because they're so embarrassed. So it worked. All right, what's your joke?
Why did the apple pie go to the dentist?
Why did the apple pie go to the dentist? I don't know.
Because it needed a filling.
Thank you for the Commonwealth comedy.
Bye.
This next item is a good one to circle back. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So tied into what I said earlier in the day, it's the seller's responsibility to make sure they know what they're doing. I think that's the way I feel anyways. And so I bought all these Smurfs and I paid very little. And we pulled all these different lots out. There's a Easter lot, there's that Halloween lot. There's like 5 or 6 lots. And the rest of them, I just said, hey, we're going to take these pictures that don't really fit together. There's some good ones in here. We could sell singles and do that if we wanted to, but we're going to auction them off. And they were in drafts, and somebody listed them that wasn't me, which is fine. My wife lists from time to time, and Bubba's girlfriend, when she has the time, will list a few if I'm behind. And right now we've got like 50 some in drafts. So sometimes I'll call her up and say, hey, you know, pick 10 out and list them or something, if you're comfortable with them. So I don't know exactly what went on with those, but my plan was to list these, like there's a Halloween lot, a Valentine lot, an Easter lot, and whatever. And so we're doing those. That was my plan. And I was going to do them on Deal of the Day on Dibbed It, like I just did that one. And the rest of them got put all together, and I was going to run an auction on the rest, plus accessories and stuff, save the time of looking up every individual one and selling things for $4. Well, I didn't list them, and somebody else did. Normally, I'm really good about that. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, all right, I'm listing all this stuff here, and I might leave some easy ones, some low-hanging fruit, and she make a couple bucks or something. So that one got listed auction. I wanted to list at auction. That one, in my mind, was a $45 to $50 auction on that. Plus, people could go through, and if they spot one that's good, they might even compete against each other and get a little bit more money. If I was to list that buy it now, I would have listed it for $60, I think. It's my guess. But it didn't. It got listed $22.95. Somebody got a great deal on that one. Plus shipping. I don't even want to dig through there because I'm 99% certain that Gargamel is right there. Don't get me wrong, we're going to still do really, really well on that. We've sold some off on live shows already and done pretty darn good on those live because they're Schleich. I mean, you know, there's Payo and Schleich for the Smurfs, but there's some good ones in there. And we have some good ones left. The Valentine's, the Easter. There's, I think, 4 or 5 more lots we haven't even listed yet. So we're going to do very well on those. That right there puts us in the, or it breaks us even on everything. And so we're going to make $80, $100 on that thing when it's all said and done. So I'm not too disappointed. But the point is still true. That got out there and it sold super duper quick at that price. And it's because somebody got a great deal. They know what they're looking for. And it's my, I'm not going to cancel that order. Somebody bought that thing. Now, that's a sliding scale, right? Well, if it was worth $22,000, you know, whew, then you gotta, how much ethics do you have, right? So, anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of everything I've said today. I appreciate you, as always, stopping by. Don't forget to go check out Ray, the Nashville Flipper. Very rarely will you find a nicer guy than Ray, and all the folks over there as well. Brendan was there, Joe was there, Kristen, a Rural Squirrel, was there as well. It's a good time, and we really dug into District a little bit. Not something I usually talk about on here, but it is one of those options that everybody has out there at this point. It's going so well, especially on Shop Commons and the Dibbed It Live. So thank you again for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next.